Let you in on an aspect of the world that you're not normally accustomed to.
I could have been a totally different person.
Yeah, right now.
Since 12 hours ago.
Could have been wearing a business suit today. Who knows?
With a fanny pack.
With a fanny pack. Just classing up the joint.
That's a fantastic idea.
It's the only kind of ideas I have, sir.
It's Corner House Chronicles Day.
It's just different enough.
And here's the kicker, boss. They're all the same personality.
They're assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just 1.5 million asshole penguins.
Best part.
I'm going to try and pace it out, so just as you forget about me, I'll just pop in and remind you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Corner House Chronicles. This is episode 52.
Bam.
Double check over there.
I noticed.
My name is John.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Aaron.
Aaron's back again, folks.
Look at that. Hopefully you didn't forget.
Probably forgot about me.
Probably. A little bit.
It's a little bit sooner than the last appearance. It took, 30 episodes before that appearance.
Mm-hmm. You're cutting it shorter and shorter, I've noticed.
It's random. I'm going to keep them on their toes. Next one might not be till 2020. We don't know.
It might not.
We don't know.
Unless you're listening to Patreon.
Ooh, hint. What
I
does
got to
that
tell
mean?
you, that project's been fun so far.
What project? What are you guys talking about?
Oh, don't you know, Jason?
Not really.
I sent you a text about it like 5 minutes ago.
Oh, I'm aware. To an extent. I know more than the listener right now.
True.
But not by much, folks.
True, and we're going to keep it that way for a little while longer.
I appreciate
Just know that Patreon, it's starting to get
It's picking up some speed.
Yeah, picking up some speed, yes, for sure.
You know what? I'll put a teaser out on Patreon
Okay.
for all the Patreon listeners to
I
know
like
what's
that.
upcoming.
That'll work.
So if you want to hear, give us your money.
But that was very subtle. I like that.
They get some stuff in return.
This is true. They do get things in return. Depending on what they donate
Yeah,
for the cause.
true. Since you're here, you might as well give out the details on the new website and the store feature real quick. That way, anybody listening, if they're interested.
So we've been putting a lot of work into the website, and there's still a lot of work to be done.
True.
There's going to be some major revamps coming, but the little stuff that we've done is no matter where you listen to podcasts, on whatever app, we have all the shortcuts to get you there so you can subscribe, and then you're automatically updated when every episode hits. We're testing out, I guess not. Yeah, it's kind of a test out right now, but it is going to go full force where we're going to have a new store layout with some shirts and hoodies with the new logo that Jason designed.
That's
gonna
right.
Yep.
It's going to look sweet, the shirts. The site's a little free.
That's where Patreon comes in.
That's where Patreon comes in.
We're slowly building.
Yep.
But all you got to do is go to the website, in the upper right-hand corner, there's a merch button.
Or
Just
the
hit that.
navigation. And
It'll take you
in the
right
drop
there.
down.
Then you just spend all your money.
It's worth it.
We appreciate it.
We do.
Definitely. And again, the website is www.chcpodcast.com. I got it right this week on the first try.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I was impressed with last week's.
Yeah. Last week, you know what it was? I think
There was a lot going on.
the pre-show talk last week was interesting. A.
Very.
B, I was so anticipating the second half of the show that,
His mind was focused.
yeah, my mind was already in that second part of the show with Tony and his story.
Not so much on reading.
So all we have to do now is go out and buy cornerhousechronicles.com so that way all the people that went to the wrong site will get redirected.
I'm bad, y'all. It happens.
But for the folks that go to endlesstitties.com,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be redirected to the correct destination.
So now that we're done paying the bills here,
Whoop, whoop.
Jay, let's get started with a little story you've been holding in your pocket.
And it's been a couple weeks on this one, trying to find the right spot to discuss it, because I thought it was fucking hilarious and kind of funny, even though it's kind of fucked up. Antarctica, there's researchers that live there throughout the year, or portions of the year, or for many years, depending on what their expedition or project is. So I want to say, because again, I don't have the story on hand, it's going from memory, but I think there were two scientists from Finland.
That reaction says he's heard about this story.
Have you heard about this story?
Yeah.
I haven't, so
About the books?
Yeah.
Okay. So by that, it's a fun story.
Okay.
You're gonna love this.
All right.
So these two scientists have been working together for 4 years, right? Just them.
That's a long time.
The little area. Forget exactly what they were following or what their research was for.
1.5 million penguins.
Pissed off penguins.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys are very educated folks, and they enjoy reading. So they brought a bunch of books, and they get books shipped to them, ship out. And over the course of 4 years, one of the scientists, every time he was reading a book, the other guy would spoil the ending.
Oh.
Like midway through, he'd
Yeah.
be like, "Oh yeah, so this happens.
Oh.
This guy dies. That blah blah blah."
Let you get invested.
Yeah, he gets you like you're invested, emotionally involved in this story.
Okay.
And then somebody walks behind you slipping on coffee, like, "Hey, Jim, did you get to the part where fucking the boat sinks and everybody dies?" Then the letter goes home to their family. And then this happens, and that person just ruins the last half of the book.
It was Colonel Mustard in the billiards room with the candlestick.
Come on! But for every book you read for 4 years,
I don't know that I'd have waited to snap.
What would you have snapped? What would you have done?
What would you do in that situation? Where, let's say it's you and I, we're doing this show in Antarctica for 4 years straight. That's all we do.
Every
in,
day.
Day out.
And we read books, and you spoil every book.
Goddamn thing. Or, no, since you've never seen movies, and I've seen a lot of movies, every time you're like, "Hey, I'm going to catch up on some movies." I'm like, "Oh, you're going to love this part when this happens."
Right. Okay. Okay. My first question before I answer: how many books am I reading a day? Is it one a day?
You're on
Day and a half.
one book every 1 or 2 days
Okay.
for 4 years.
So I'm going to give you a week.
A week.
Yeah.
And
And
then what are you going to do?
probably throw the book at you.
Yeah.
And probably another book will come flying across the room. Did you read this one yet, motherfucker? That's probably how that would
So
work
that's the
out.
extent of your blow up?
Well, in my head right now, yeah. I'm sure after a week of
Okay.
just
Let's say
being
the
in
next
same-
week, I give you like 3 days to cool off.
Oh, I'm done reading at that point.
All together.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to read in your presence. I'll wait till you're in the can and blow through a couple pages and then put the book down,
And then from the bathroom, I'm all like, "Colonel Mustard."
Yeah, if you catch on then I'll wait till you go for a walk with the penguins and then I'll read.
'Cause that's the only entertainment he has.
That's it. There's no really.
That means all your downtime is in your mind wasted because every time you start getting something that you like, it's snatched away.
Yeah. Yeah, me personally, I'd probably just start writing instead of reading, because you couldn't spoil that.
Well, I could burn the pages.
You could. That would be a whole different level of
let's
insult.
say we'll say that though. Like I hide it on you, and I draw you a map of where you could find it, and it's out somewhere in Antarctica.
I'd probably be on the next ship out. I'd probably quit the job and just go back to mainland.
tapping out.
Yeah, I would. I'd be like, enjoy your time by yourself.
That
Spoil
is-
your own stories.
That is not the option that this scientist took.
Okay. Now I'm excited to hear about what he did.
So,
And he
apparently-
waited 4 years before.
4 years.
Okay.
He may have had minor blow-ups here and there. I mean, how could you not?
True.
But there was a straw that broke the camel's back, or a knife that entered the other scientist's gut. However you want to word it.
Damn, he stabbed him?
He fucking stabbed him.
Wow.
Tell me how this is going to end, motherfucker.
Right. Holy
Who's the
shit.
doctor now?
In the guts, too, huh?
Like, I'm only a doctor of marine biology, you asshole.
Did the guy die?
No,
Oh, shit.
he did not die, but he did have to get emergency medical treatment in a remote area. So he was
Rough shape.
he was not doing well.
Damn, straight stabbed him in the guts.
And you know that guy sat over him reading a book. You know
I guarantee he didn't. Because
It was a
if you
first
just
aid
got
book.
stabbed and you're like, "Fuck, I might die," and somebody's reading like, "Fine, I'm going to sit down and read fucking, I don't know, Count of Monte Cristo." And he's like, "Guess how it ends, motherfucker." He's like,
You want to tell me
You
how
have
mice
nothing
and
left
men
to-
end? Do you want to?
Yeah.
You want to do this?
I mean, at that point, I think it's just like, "Fuck you, I'll tell you how it ends." How worse is it going to get? I'm already about to die.
I would totally, if I stabbed him, if I was that guy, I would sit down and read a book about first aid.
I'd read it out loud.
Yeah, and I would read it out loud.
Let me read you a story.
Knife wounds in the
like-
gut. What chapter is that?
I called in the SOS. They're on their way. But
Yeah.
in the meantime,
I'll be here in about 3 days.
Chapter 1, motherfucker.
Let me skip to the part where the guy stabs him in the stomach.
What's
I'm
like
going to read you that.
the longest book there is Is it War and Peace? Is that?
I think Warren. I don't know if it's the longest, but it's a long
That-
fucking book.
That's what I would read to him. After every page, how's your belly?
Yeah. You feeling all right? You want some water? Oops, dropped it.
That's a fucked up story.
Fucking stabbed him. I mean, who's in the wrong at this point? He waited 4 years
Yeah.
of this constant, let's say, bullying.
Now, the thing to think about up here is that is not a country. That's international, right?
That's just a continent. It's a
Well, it's
piece of land.
It's
Right.
not owned, but there are
Investors.
You have to answer to what? United Nations?
sections that are claimed by different countries as like this is our turf. It's not officially under like our
So
property, but we're occupying this.
Is he
at
going to
the
get
moment.
charged?
That's a good question.
When did this happen? You've been holding on to this for a couple
He's
of
like-
weeks. How old is the story? About a
Less
month
than a
old?
month.
Or? Okay.
Less than a month.
Okay.
Do you call himself a pirate?
The Martian. Nice.
King of the Penguins?
I don't know. I mean, if you're out there, like I can only think of the movie The Thing. Have you seen that?
It's been too long for me to remember.
Want me to tell you how it ends?
Sure, absolutely.
I was going to throw out a bunch of those references when you were saying this.
It's the only like mental
Right.
aspect like I can cling to when I'm trying to picture this. But instead of like a whole group where you have a cook, a doctor, like guy in charge, and then the other scientist, then you have like your aviation. You have all these. You have two guys just in this remote fucking nowhereville,
Yeah.
like possibly hundreds of miles away from the next outpost.
I picture Lost. They're down in the hatch, you know, and they got to press the button every 108 minutes, so
Never
they go
seen
crazy because they're stuck in a hatch, and that kind of what I picture with this story.
Okay.
Just two
I'll
guys
tell you,
down
I
in the
sympathize with the guy that got stabbed because I can see myself in that position.
I mean, that's his entertainment. Is like, I'm gonna piss off Mark. Check this out.
I can see myself doing that to someone.
I mean, especially what if that guy was recording this? The guy who kept spoiling the books, he was recording this for like a YouTube channel. Like, say, this is hypothetical. He has like 1 million followers, and like on his last fucking upload, you just watch him get stabbed, and you're like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this.
That's a hell of a cliffhanger.
Yeah, no. How would this one end?
Okay, so I had
Tune
to,
in next week.
I had to Google it just to see.
All right.
You know, and it says they weren't. You said they were Finnish.
I think
They're Russian.
Russian. Okay.
One of them's finished.
No, they're yeah. So it says a researcher at Russia's Antarctic station stabbed a kitchen knife into his colleague because he was fed up with the man telling him endings of books. Sergei, whatever, 55, became angry after Oleg, 52, kept telling him the ending of the books. The duo were avid readers. That's how they passed the time. The victim is in intensive care after being flown from Russia's Bellinghausen research station on King George Island to Chile with a knife injury to his heart.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You straight up going for
Yeah,
it.
the assailant later voluntarily surrendered to the chief of the station and was placed under house arrest. The agency said that the incident had resulted from tensions in a confined space.
Cabin fever.
Yeah. Stabbed him in the heart with a kitchen knife.
He wasn't fucking around. He was like,
Dude.
that's the last book you spoil.
Sergei Stabanoff.
And that that
What
article
teams he play for?
was
St. Louis Blues?
that article was posted on Halloween just a couple weeks ago from the Irish Times.
Nice.
New York Times. Oh, that's a different article. Never mind. That's funny shit, though.
That's crazy. I didn't know he stabbed him in the heart.
In the
Or
heart.
Trying to stab him in the heart. Damn.
He got house arrest. I just kicked his ass out with the Penguins. Good luck, dude. You gotta go.
Exile.
I wouldn't even give him the knife.
Just stab him, drag him out there, feed him to the penguins.
And then-
Not worry
yeah.
about it.
Just close the door and lock
No.
it. Stand in a window
Put
and
him in
wave
a pen
with about
Right.
30 Penguins.
and just take
round
bets.
one.
How many can he beat?
Got a new
we're-
show. Got
Oh.
a new show for your YouTube channel.
There you
Right.
go.
Man versus wild.
Every like a new penguin gets added.
There you go. Every comment, you get 4. Pay-per-view, baby.
Yeah.
Trademark. Just in case, the future's a weird place.
Trademark. We're on a good pace. We're almost won a show.
Sometimes more than one a show.
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh,
So, I asked you earlier
Yeah.
if you're caught up on The Walking Dead.
I'm not. I'm still a few behind.
A few behind. Okay. Aaron, you're a whole season behind, correct?
More than that.
More than that. Is this going to bother you if we talk about Walking Dead real quick?
No, there's no chance I'm catching up anytime soon.
Okay.
I've moved on to like High Castle and other stuff.
Yeah, by the time he does come back around, it'll probably be fresh in his mind.
What about you? Is this
Oh, it doesn't bother me at all.
No? Okay. So last week's episode, I mean, they've been teasing this whole season that it's Rick Grimes. He's done.
Yeah, I seen the first episode of this season.
Okay.
That's where I left off.
So he's got the Saviors, Les Negan,
Yeah.
working with all the different groups to rebuild a bridge. And the Saviors aren't happy about it. They
Some
put
of
up
them
a bit
have
of fight.
been leaving.
Yeah.
in
Well, they
the
were
night.
being killed
Oh.
by the Oceanside chicks
Oh, really?
for previous things. Yeah. We find that out. So they tease it. It's Rick Grimes episode. Him and Daryl got in some beef. Rick ends up falling and getting a big steel rod through his guts over here on the side.
Oh, all
probably
right.
just below the ribs. And they leave off the episode where that's it. The herd's coming in. This
Yeah.
is it. So last week's episode starts off. He pulls himself off this steel rod, survives it, hops on the horse, and starts trotting away, leading the herd.
Okay.
And he goes in and out mentally with Shane.
Yeah, I seen a
He
picture.
passes out on the horse, like straddling the horse, and he's in the car with Shane, and they're having a conversation about everything, and they're laughing and joking about it. It's a pretty cool scene. It really is. Then there's another one with Sasha. There's one with Herschel. He goes through these different moments.
Herschel died though in real life. The guy.
See, I'm thinking they had to have recorded this way
Like, this
before
was
he
planned,
passed away.
yeah.
Yeah. Because I was watching the scene like, there's no way this is computer animated because it was
Too.
yeah, it didn't feel right. It felt real,
Okay.
So that was pretty cool. He ends up getting to the bridge, and the people see him, and he shoots a box of dynamite and blows himself up, blows all the walkers up, blows the bridge up. The walkers are on fire. They fall in the water. Saves the day. So at the end of the episode, you remember the chick from the garbage,
Yeah,
dump?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's been in cahoots with somebody on a walkie-talkie that has helicopters.
The helicopter, the military, something
Okay.
or other. Yeah.
So they're the whole episode they're trying to get a hold of her. Is it an A or B? And she's supposed to be bringing somebody for the evacuation. Rick washes up on shore, alive. Still, he's probably lost 6 pints of blood at this point. I mean,
I'm
he's
done blowed up.
Yeah, and he blew up the bridge and shit. So the episode leaves off. Rick Grimes is in the helicopter, still alive. They jump to us, and this is only episode 5, so they have 3 more
Okay.
for the first half of the season, and then they come back in February after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because that's how they don't
mid-season
run against the
hiatus.
playoffs, right?
Which is smart on their part, but
They're gonna jump like Judith is like 12 next week.
huh?
They're jumping like 5-6 years into the future.
That's interesting.
She's walking around in Rick and Carl's hat.
oh no shit.
Yeah, and she's like saving people out in the woods like Carl was doing, but she's like a little
Badass.
Annie Oakley badass. Yeah,
Little ass kicker.
yeah, yep, for sure. So I was like, man, this is interesting. They're gonna jump that far ahead in the
Okay.
middle of the first half of the season, And I've been wondering where that equals in the comic books.
I'm wondering if Daryl has taken a fucking bath yet. Then
Not yet. Not that I've seen.
he's one greasy fucker, folks.
But it was
Where
pretty
they say
interesting.
If Daryl dies, we right. If he
Yeah.
bathes, we applaud. 'Cause goddamn.
It was pretty cool. You should take the time to catch up. I know you don't have time, but
That's the trick. And because I don't have cable, I have to rely on Netflix. So
you're always a year
season
behind.
I'm a year
yeah.
behind on Netflix, and they're always a year behind. So at this point, I'm like, I'm just gonna stockpile a few.
Yeah. It's pretty cool though. They're getting back into some gnarly shit now, which I like.
That's cool.
That's what detracted me a lot on that show.
It got a little boring there in the
Repetitive
early
as
seasons.
fuck for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, and for a while there, the walkers weren't a big issue.
Yeah, it was more.
They
internal
are now.
conflict,
Then it reminded me a lot of like Revolution till they fucked
Yeah.
that show up.
which was really easy to fuck up.
Yeah.
And I think the saving grace for them a couple seasons back was bringing in Negan.
And here's the other thing. I thought Maggie was going to kill Negan, and then Negan would off her,
Yeah.
right? Because we've talked about her leaving the show soon. She didn't. He broke down, like was begging for her to kill him. And I was like, oh, he's setting her up and shit. And she took a step back, and he got up, walked himself back into his cage, and pulled the door shut. Like, they broke him, for real. So
It could be, he plays the long game.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
he does play the long game, and I'm curious as to how they, because they're jumping so far into the future next week. So we're going to see, did Negan really just spend 5 years in a cage in a basement of a house, or did he get out, get
In
away?
the comic book, he spends a long
Does
time
he?
in there.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, maybe this is what they did. They jumped ahead so he can make his escape, catch up with the comic books. It's going to be interesting to watch. I'm looking forward to it, and this will air after I've seen it. So
Yeah. And then
No spoilers, listeners.
they've also announced that they've been planning a Walking Dead universe. Rick is going to get a 3-movie deal. Where
In England, correct?
No,
Because he's going home to be with his family. That's why they wrote him out of the show right now.
yeah, it's not going to be like next month they're going to start filming. No, it's a ways away. I know. Yeah,
A whiles.
a while. So he gets 3 movies as Rick.
We do record in Taylor, folks.
It's true.
It's a whiles away from
It's a
you.
while. Another movie. Well, they said a movie. I don't know if it's one of the 3 that he's in or a separate movie. Is going to be filmed in a different country to give you a different perspective. I doubt they would be like, "How did Rick get to England? Tune in next time."
The helicopter.
I don't.
And they're
think,
jumping so many years into the future that this could be paralleling. Is that it? Paralleling with the movie? Not saying
Wales. Let me tell you. No.
Parallel.
Parallel.
Parallel. Well, if he got picked
Oh,
up
yeah,
in the
no,
helicopter,
yeah,
it
right,
could
yeah.
be like, all right, they say they take him to England. However the fuck they're going to refuel that many times. Maybe a boat. I don't know. But let's say he gets.
Maybe they take him on a boat.
Yeah, maybe he goes to
Yeah.
England and they think he died when he got blowed up.
Yeah. Oh, they do.
That was for you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, and then he comes back when little ass kicker's 12, like, "Hey, I'm back and I brought a helicopter." And she's like, "What the fuck?"
Have you seen Coral?
Coral. And Michonne's with fucking Grease Boy.
Yeah, I don't know about all
Who
that.
knows? I don't know. They could do a lot.
Maybe she's bedding down with Negan. Who knows?
But I'd heard they're also doing at least 2 other spin-off shows, which
They already got. Is the one still going?
it is.
Yeah, they
LA
took
one.
Morgan
Yeah,
out
they had to
and
throw
shoved him
They
over.
had to throw Morgan over there to keep some ratings up.
I
It's not
did
doing well.
enjoy that show. Did you watch it at all?
I watched the first season and some of the second. They were like, "Hey, we got money and we can like go deeper." And it's like, yeah, you shouldn't have. messed
When
with
when
it
they
so
went on the boat to that guy's like private house and shit, I was
Yeah,
like,
that
"What am
was-
I watching?
exactly.
This isn't." Yeah, but it was just a different perspective.
Yeah.
and luckily for them, it's caught on enough to where they're making
Yeah, I
more
hope
seasons.
I
so
hope it does well for him.
I
but
thought it was
not
pretty good.
it wasn't terrible.
No,
But
They didn't have any characters that really you grasped like.
I
Rick.
had one. The old,
Which one?
the barber, the old man in the first season.
See, I like
the old Hispanic guy,
Yeah.
yeah, he was cool.
He had the
liked
coolest episode in almost any show I've ever seen. When
Mhm.
he breaks out the stadium of fucking walkers.
Yeah, that was sweet.
And walks by the people that killed his wife. It was just like, nice night.
Mhm.
And then pimps away. And then, there's a horde of fucking 80,000 fucking things he just brought there. And then, whew,
I like the
ballsy.
I like the storyline of the young kid that was the drug
The junkie
addict.
guy?
That's the one I
just
like. Yeah, I
because there
liked
was
him too.
so much dynamics that you could turn to because he had.
He
such
didn't give a
different-
shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then he started
and
to.
then he started
and
to
then
get
he didn't.
here and there. And then it's like you see him become, like, the humanity be restored in
after
this
he was
chaos.
like walking with the zombies covered
in
in
this
he,
shit.
he was like
Yeah.
the first one to figure
Figured
out you
out,
could do
yeah.
that. Yeah, that was cool. I
So,
enjoyed it.
I did enjoy that. I wonder if that's going to get one of the movies.
That'd be kind of interesting. Another thing that's been bothering the fuck out of me. All right, it's cool because in The Walking Dead, like as the seasons go, the walkers, the zombies, are more and more deteriorated. Right?
Yeah,
It's kind of, if you like look back at the first season,
They
up
had
to the
more
zombies,
clothes on.
They had more clothes, more tissue.
yeah.
They were actually more mobile. Now
Now
they're
it's-
getting like bones. So if they're jumping that far ahead, 6 years, 7 years, however long it is, or 12, 10, I don't know.
It looks like Judith is about 3 to 4, and then they jump to where she's out in the woods by herself with
Yeah.
a pistol on her hip, so she's got to
so
be
is Carl at like
10
8.
to 12.
So let's say she's 10. So they jump 7 years, right?
We'll go 6.
We'll say 6
6 years they jump.
for shits and giggles.
Okay.
So 6 years, are there zombies left in that massive count? You got to think like a lot of them are probably just fucking like worn away to shit.
Especially in that little area of Virginia, because I imagine
maybe
they're still
they-
in Alexandria
I
and
would hope,
stuff.
yeah.
and- yeah.
I wonder if they're going to continue along that timeline and it's not flash forward and then go back to.
Jump back and forth. They tend
Right.
to do that.
They could.
Because if they stay there and all the walkers are essentially gone,
Mhm.
then it becomes a
Rebuilding.
rebuilding and a lot of dynamics between the groups and
Which I think is a cool aspect.
Which-
absolutely, which totally shifts the dynamic of
Yeah.
the show into, almost like medieval days where you had the castles and the fiefdoms and
The irony here
Served
is
them.
that you haven't been caught up, and they've already started all that.
oh, did they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like Michonne is writing the new laws. Maggie done hung somebody for trying to kill somebody else. You know what I mean? Like they're taking.
she's in charge of Hilltop. She's like in charge. And
Yeah,
then
Michonne
everyone's
and
working
Rick.
together. Like the Oceanside's supplying fish and food to these people.
Carol and King Ezekiel are running the kingdom. Basically,
Yeah.
there's a whole thing. So they've already caught up somewhat to that point
Yeah.
of what you would
Where
think.
are
They're
they
in the very
located
beginning.
now?
Virginia, Alexandria, Virginia.
Okay.
Which I think is North Virginia.
I think so too.
I think it's a little north, without looking at a map. But I just want to talk
and
about
it's
it. 'cause
like in the very beginning stages, but now they're going to jump 6 years, so you get to see what it's turning into.
what they've become. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I really dig the show. I've been a fan. Yeah,
But like most shows, it gets repetitive, and
there was a lull down in
Yeah.
1 or 2 seasons where it got kind of.
eh.
But shout out to Andrew Lincoln. I know his character is not dead, but
Yeah, good
for
for
as
him. Now
long
he's
as
get
he's
some
been
movies out of the
gone,
deal, too.
yeah,
So what are the movies going to be based off?
Maybe that 6-year span, his experience after
Maybe
being on
that's why
that.
they
that's a
jumped
good. Yeah, that's a good one there. I like that.
He'll probably because I doubt he's coming back.
President Lincoln?
So they just like maybe the movie starts with him on the helicopter and the helicopter lands and then it goes into.
Because like let's say the last episode he gets taken in the helicopter. The one that comes back where they're fast forwarded and he comes back and they're like, "Where have you been?" He's like, "It's a long story, about 3 movies worth."
I don't think that he's going to come back to the show that quick, but
Well, they may have already recorded it.
maybe.
I
Absolutely.
really hope.
Especially
And
if
then
they got that Herschel footage.
Yeah, and then maybe he dies at the end of this season, and then those movies are the filler to keep
True.
the interest.
I really hope they don't go the route of, since now a helicopter's shown up with good gas after all this time,
That's a good point.
that he's going to be taken back to like some military outpost.
But
and
they've been hinting.
Dude, he's so hung up on the bad gas thing with the Patreon project. He's always.
no one knows about that.
It's a
John.
real thing.
Spoiler.
It's okay. I didn't give away too much. Come on, man.
I'm going to stab you in the heart now.
Oh.
That's the last one.
But no, really, if they go back and then there's like some huge government or military entity that's controlling like the northeastern.
I mean, well, the thing you got to think is maybe with the idea of a movie being set in a different country, what if it's just the United States that was affected? No one, they
True.
have not gone into detail.
you mean
'cause-
North America? Because didn't the other show go down to Mexico?
Yeah, you would say Canada and Mexico would be.
All right, fair. I didn't get that far.
But like in
other
England,
show.
maybe
Isn't
they're.
that where the house on the hill was? Wasn't it in Mexico?
Oh, hell, I don't know.
I have no. I know they were in California.
Yeah, I thought
So
they took the
assume.
boat south.
Okay.
And the feeling I got, because
They did go into Mexico in that show, yes.
that it was like a
Okay.
drug lord's
Yes.
compound. And
Yes.
that's why it was the
Yes.
house on the hill.
So let's say it was North America that was only affected. Maybe England or other countries that still produce. They still have their own shipping. Maybe.
They took a hit but survived after
Yeah.
America
So
took
after
a
all
dump.
this was just a biological attack.
Maybe.
Ooh, that's a good twist.
And maybe like.
Where you at, Kirkman? We need to know.
That's true. The remnants of the United States military or government still had contact with the outside world, and maybe they're shipping them gas. Maybe they're shipping them supplies.
Ooh.
That's a possibility.
We'd probably know all the answers if we read the comics.
It's better than the idea like Dennis Hopper out on an oil tanker.
That's actually a giant rowboat. Spoiler alert. Even though they have gas.
Who would have thought Walking Dead and Waterworld combined?
This is just the prequel, folks.
Yeah, right. Trademark.
now I understand the 3-movie deal.
There you go.
What,
There's a whole lot they can go into, but
Oh yeah, I like. I saw the other day Breaking Bad is making a movie.
yeah.
Now I only watched the 2 seasons of Breaking Bad. You guys finished that or?
I did.
Yeah.
I've watched it took me years after the show actually
Ooh.
stopped airing.
It was rough. Some parts of that show, Breaking
oh my
Bad,
God.
are dry and
Yeah.
Slow.
Slow.
Yeah.
But then the other parts you're just like, holy fuck.
But that was the charm to the show.
It was like a half normal
Yes.
living my life. This is just me going to the grocery store and dealing with this. But
Relatable.
I'm also
It was
a
somewhat
fucking meth
relatable.
kingpin,
Yep.
and I got to deal with that world here and
with
there.
cancer.
It was
Yeah.
as realistic, I think, as they could have made a
Yes, they
fake
could've-
show.
yeah.
Because some of it was so slow, but you're like, well, that's the boring part of being a drug lord.
You would
That's
assume.
hiding.
Yeah.
That's the trying to keep it hidden in your personal life. And while that sucks to watch sometimes, it really built up so when
You could tell how it affected the Walter White's character and like
Yeah.
how he's dealing with everything.
And when some of those moments hit where you're like, fuck.
When he's trying to act normal, like but shit happens and he's like, I got too much, and then the drug dealer Kingpin comes out and he's like, motherfucker, I will have you wiped out. And you're just like, oh wow, he just
Yeah.
I remember watching one of the episodes where they had a dude locked up in the basement and he was supposed to be dead, but he
That
wasn't.
was
They had to try to
first
kill
season.
him.
Yeah.
That was pretty tough to watch.
oh yeah.
So the premise of this is what?
So
That I don't know.
well, I know a little bit. Is it gonna bother you if I
No,
spoil?
absolutely. I didn't even watch the show, so yeah, no, you're good
So,
here.
you know how Jesse was captured in the
Yeah.
last season? From what they're saying and what I've seen is it's picking up straight with Jesse and how he's going with life after. I don't know if it's like day one being escaped and all that shit went down and it follows, or if it's a couple of years in the future, but how he's going from that life at that level of drug production and
Money.
being so hot, and all the fucked up shit, and now he's a normal person. Or is he a normal person? Or did he go back and restart it? Or
Just for my brain, did Walter White's character die in the show?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, he did.
Spoiler for anybody.
The last episode was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it was movie worthy.
Maybe I'll go
It's worth it.
I'll go
Like-
back
like
and watch
Aaron,
the show.
Yeah.
like, you gotta put in the effort.
Yeah. There
on
you
some
go.
of the parts.
Yeah.
It definitely is, but it's worth it because
It is.
It gives you definitely the feeling that it was a lot realer than a lot of the typical shows that you're like, man, that would never happen. Here, you're the
seems
whole
like-
time you're like, yeah, that could happen.
It was extremely well thought out.
You look at car
The whole
washes a
story.
new way.
Yeah.
Now the guy that wrote that story.
Better Call Saul.
He sold that to the TV to get Better Call Saul off the shelf, right? Because I think Saul was the first show he wrote.
Saul good, man.
That's a great show.
It is a great show.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's written with that much intelligence and forethought. It just works so well. And then they can bring in all the other stuff that it ties to Breaking Bad. And you're just like, oh, that guy, yeah. Oh, he was fucking nuts.
Huh. I haven't been too excited about a show, so I might dive back into that one just to see how it turns out.
For the movie, I'd have to hear more.
Yeah, they just announced that, oh, by the way,
But
I think they
production's starting up in
New
New
Mexico. Yep.
now the show ended, geez,
It's been 4 or 5 years, right?
more
probably
than that.
more than that.
Think so?
Yeah,
Yeah.
usually when I think it's 4 or 5 years, it's about 8 or 9 because I have no sense of time with all the stuff I'm doing.
Right.
So,
It's been so long, it's already off Netflix.
because it was off the air for 2 or 3 years before Better Call Saul came on.
Yep.
And
Saul's in
that's
what, season 3 or 4?
3 or 4. So it's probably around 6 or 7 years ago.
Are you looking it up? You got it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking. 2013.
So 5 years.
Yeah, so that's about the ballpark. So if it took them 5 years to either they had to decide to do the money grab or make a legit show, and to get them to sign back on after making a masterpiece like Breaking Bad, I would have to believe that it's a good story, or what's his name, the actor that plays Jesse.
I don't know. I know the only other movie
plays
he did was
poker. Well, regardless,
the driving one.
either
Driver
he's
or-
making a money grab and he finally
Maybe it was in
signed
his
on.
contract.
I doubt it.
You never know.
I'd like to see who was writing it, because if
Oh,
they've
it's
been
probably the same dude.
if they've
right?
been working on Better Call Saul, then it could
Yeah.
have took 5 years to write the movie.
Easy.
You know, to writing out the plot line and stuff. I mean, shit.
and
They
then
never.
getting everything together to present it to the.
How many
movie
years did they
studios.
have to make a Sopranos movie before Gandolfini passed away?
Yeah.
You know, they could have done that within a
true.
year or two. They could have had a movie out. It would have made buku bucks, because that show
Hell
was
yeah,
a
it would.
hit.
They could have did it.
They could make it
series of
today,
movies. Oh, fuck
and
yeah,
it would
they
probably
could.
make a killing.
If it picked up and told you what happened after
Yeah.
it went.
Like he was the one that got offed at the end, and then you follow the family.
All it needs for Sopranos to make money is have a fucking gang war.
Yeah, a real one. It's
That's what they were.
But they killed a lot of characters off at the end of that
yeah,
show,
but
dude.
people were
Fuck
waiting
yeah,
for
they did.
Godfather shit.
they were.
And
Going to
think
the
that's what
mattresses.
kept it cool, that it didn't go there. I think
It never boiled over. It kept
Yeah.
building up, and then they had to resolve it,
It
and figure
followed
out.
him
But
and
that added so much frustration.
Oh man,
it did. That show got rough when he was in a coma. I was like,
Yeah,
"Ugh,
that was a
man, I
tough
don't
time."
want to watch this, but I'm so
think-
close to the end.
I think he was doing movies at that point. Maybe
Probably.
like a movie, perhaps Last Castle or some shit.
He was in True Romance.
He was.
That was one of the best fight scenes ever. Him and Patricia Arquette. That was awesome.
Come on, baby.
When she stabbed him in
With
the
the
foot with that
corkscrew?
corkscrew, I was like,
Oh.
"Oh my god!"
She fucking did it.
Yep, and then the
he was like,
shotgun.
oh,
But when he threw her through the shower,
dude. Or
No
the
fucking around.
Or
No.
the mirror.
Yep.
Just fucking like gorilla press.
and
like,
she's just laughing.
you look so stupid.
That was great.
Imagine like walking into your hotel room and it's just disheveled, dead body,
Girlfriend
fucking
beat the
suitcase
hell
full
up.
of coke. She's fucked up, and you're just like,
We gotta go.
I got the burgers.
Meanwhile, you're having a conversation about Elvis with a stranger.
And that's not even the only hotel scene, right?
No,
it's
the
not.
end of the movie.
The end of the movie. Actually.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Fancy
badass
penthouse
too.
one.
That was a great movie.
That
Damn
was.
it.
We get back to that one quite a
I
bit
think
on this show.
We do. I think one of the attractions to it for us is like the movie was set in a part in our neighborhood.
True. The beginning of it, yeah. Definitely.
Like, he's from our neck of the woods. Like he refers to that fucking airport, which we live by. It's like, hey, I know exactly what he's talking
He works
about.
in a comic book store.
Yeah,
That's pretty
in on the
sweet.
fucking skirts of Detroit. It's like, yeah, I could probably find that place.
Yeah. What really hit home is when they
Heroes
go
for
to
sale.
Dennis Hopper's trailer. When
Yeah.
Christopher Walken goes there,
That
and
was a
you
good
see
scene.
you see the lake skyline. And you're like, oh, I know that view.
Yep.
I work by that view.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's accurate. I think that's part of it is you feel more connected to it.
True.
Same thing with The Crow, which we've talked about a lot.
yeah.
It blows my mind in like my traveling and living in different places. The concept, it seems foreign to us, but it's foreign to them. Devil's Night, no one believes that's a thing.
I couldn't believe that until there was someone I worked at. I forget what job I was at that moved here,
Yeah.
and I was talking to him about Devil's Night because it,
From the movies?
lack of a better term, a holiday around here.
Kind of.
You know, it. We all knew about it. That's
We grew up like there was a curfew. You couldn't go out.
our
like,
family got together,
Yeah.
played games. All the kids would hang out. And we
Yep.
spent all of it together in one house. And then you talk to someone and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" And you're like,
Yep.
"Are you serious?"
It's the night they set the fucking cities on fire and fucking rob and steal cars. And like it was a bad fucking night.
Lo and behold, it's the night they set the city on fire.
Detroit proper, like every year. It's like
Yeah,
they
it
would
wa-
burn down all the abandoned buildings,
Insurance
like
money.
houses, like apartment buildings, like 30-floor buildings. Like they,
See, I was more tied to that movie because of the fact that the guy that wrote The Crow, he was from Taylor.
Yep.
He went to Truman with my parents. You know what I mean? Like he lived less than a mile from here. Well, maybe less than 2 miles from here. And that to me was always the coolest thing. Like this dude he did something. When was that? 92? 93?
when he started, the movie.
Yeah, movie.
The movie,
The
yeah.
comic
He
book
probably
that he started
started.
writing was like mid 80s.
I mean, my parents graduated in 1980, so yeah, and he was in high school with them. So
What the story stemmed from, like him writing it, was him and his long-term girlfriend were in a car accident and she died, and
really, I did
Yeah.
not know that.
he started writing and drawing the comic book as a way to deal with the depression and
To cope, yeah. Wow, that's pretty cool.
well,
Plus,
Well,
not
it's
the situation, but
right? It's cool that he turned
that
it
came
into
from
something
creative.
Yes,
and
yes.
we all latched onto it because we knew it was someone from the area we're in that made it. That
Yeah.
shows you, wow, you can do something here and get out and like be bigger than a 9 to 5.
It's true.
Now,
That and the soundtrack kicked ass.
Soundtrack was fucking
Still to
amazing.
this day.
yeah, I still listen to it.
Yeah, it's a good soundtrack to drink beer to.
Name me a bad soundtrack to drink beer to.
Batman Forever.
That's just a bad movie. I couldn't even tell you the
Hey
songs
man,
on there.
I will drink
Seal, Kiss
beer
by a Rose.
to Kiss by a Rose. The Kiss from a Rose song. Yeah.
I purchased that for that song. For some reason, that song hit me,
Oh, it hit everybody.
It was probably a
fucking
girl.
dynamite.
And I-
It probably was.
and I went out and bought that CD.
It's rough. Did it have the fucking Batman Forever logo on the
It
cover?
did.
Oh yeah,
It did.
Ugh.
It had all their faces on it.
That's rough.
Knock it off. Was it Clooney? Or no, was that
No,
Kilmer?
Kilmer.
It was Kilmer.
Kilmer.
Knock it off, Kilmer.
So, did I ever tell you guys about the Skeal? I'll just say that.
Steel?
Skeal. Skeal.
Is this another made-up word?
Kind of. It's a conglomerate of skiing and seal.
No.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So, I'm going to show you a video, and I will preface it with a guy who was fed up with his life, hating that he worked a 9-to-5 office job. He's like, well, I've always wanted to make video games. Like, I've always wanted to create video games. So he taught himself how to code, and Skeal is the first video game he made. And he released it for free on the internet. And it's a very amateur,
Remedial.
presentation. But the game itself is amazing. So I'm going to dig that video up. I highly recommend for the people listening at home to look up Skeal on YouTube. So it's a video of someone on the internet discovering this game and playing it and their reaction to it.
So it's not like a release, a promo.
No.
It's just some guy with a YouTube channel. It's like, holy shit, look what I just found.
Yeah, like a YouTuber found it. Like I guess his thing is like he goes out and plays all like the indie games and shit. The obscure stuff. I mean, there used to be like Newgrounds. There's a website you could go on. You could make. Yeah.
I remember the browser games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could make a game and upload it, and people would play it. This is like he goes on those types of websites, looks at games.
I played so many of those games when
Some
I worked
of them were amazing.
When I worked for a newspaper, that's all we did is play browser games. Because then, yeah.
All right.
So many of them. You got to hold it up to a mic if they're going to hear it. That's what's the problem with the last show.
The Ric Flair video.
Yeah.
Mad Mike's video was loud enough.
All right, I'll hold it up.
No,
but
it wasn't.
To also, yeah, I didn't hold it to a mic on that one either.
I know.
You have to see it as well as hear it. So I don't know how we want to do this.
Just hit play. Let's see how loud it is.
If nothing else, we can link.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
We can link it in our show.
That's what you said about the Ric Flair video.
I didn't say that.
Touche.
Dennis, this is Skeal. Oh, cool. It's no big Skeal. What? It's no big Skeal. It's just a skiing simulator. Oh, I see what you're doing. Is this a Skeal-based game? Oh, you bastard. You little bastard.
How old is this game?
I don't know. Apparently it's
Pretty fucking old.
Okay. With weird elements that make
Like PlayStation 1.
Well, it's made for. He put it up on a computer, so I can look it up.
Just jump in there and see what happens. Oh yeah. Okay. Hour zero.
So there's different color like flags that you gotta ski through,
No, I gotta get that power up. So it looks like I'm skating. Whoa, hang on.
and the
Jingle
three
bells.
different colors represent three different
Seal?
things.
No. Oh.
So right now, in the top left, it has power,
Is that why it's called Skeal? Oh yeah.
and it's
I
at
guess
like
it's
20,
seal.
and he just passed a thing, and now his pleasure is at 1.
Pleasure?
It's from a road. So it's snowing. Right. So that means the light that he shines on the grave.
And each
I don't
time
know
you
the
go
lyrics.
through,
Your pleasure
Seal,
meter is
the
going
artist,
through
his picture is on the flags.
I love this song.
Oh.
Is this the whole game?
Oh, I got it now.
Something else gonna happen now? I don't know. What else could happen now? Seems like we got Kiss from a Rose going off a ledge here, Meg. Oh, am I gonna make it? Yeah, I'm fine. This game seems to play itself. Yeah, I just kind of let it go. Oh, but your power's going up. Oh, I love this song. It's a great song. Mate, you're going fast. I'm going very fast. A pleasure goes up for each seal flag. What about your power and your pain? That's the twist. Maybe. My power, my pleasure. My pain. Where's your pain? Baby. It's coming.
You having flashbacks over there, Aaron?
This is so dumb. I was not expecting a seal.
Are the two guys narrating this, are they the ones that made it?
No, they're playing it.
They're
They
playing
found
it.
it on the internet, and they're playing it.
Cool. This is an experience more than a game. This seems like an experience.
Roses are falling from the sky right now in the video game.
This is the future of music videos. I'm glad I didn't read the whole article outlining this. Yeah, I didn't know anything about this until just I just thought it was a funny name. I was like, let's do this. What the fuck is that? Is that a seal? This is freaky, man. Don't miss it! I missed it! Oh, my pain went up! Oh, my
So,
There's my
what were those
there's
little
the
trapper
pain.
keepers back in the day? They had like the crazy, like in early '90s.
Oh, I got it. Beautiful. This is getting tough. I don't want pain. I want pleasure. I only want pleasure.
Lisa Fink?
I just
Frank?
Lisa Frank.
Lisa
yeah.
Frank?
And it's a
Pain.
little seal picture that you jump through.
Jesus, Maury.
So now the pain counter is going after you said
Jesus
pain.
Christ. Dude, your power's going crazy, though. Jesus. Really high. Oh, you're going to miss it. Nope. No. The steering's a little awkward. I think I'm getting used to it. Let's see if I can avoid any more pain.
It gets better.
Oh, it gets better?
Pleasure going there, though. Lots of pleasure. 58 pleasure. That's a lot of pleasure. Let's go for the duration of the song. Oh, no.
So they just jumped off a cliff into nothing, and now there's thousands of images of seals all around them.
Seals is beautiful.
And it's just snowing.
They're like lightning bugs.
Wow. This is the next level. The big seal. This is the next level for music videos. This is what they're all going to be. Yeah, this is what they're going to be. Oh, that's...
And that's the
it.
game.
That's the game, huh?
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
So, somebody who wanted to teach himself how to make video games, that is the first game he made.
All right, kudos. You know,
Fuck yeah.
I mean, he taught himself how to make it and put the kick-ass music in there.
It's kind of weird that he chose that. Like, I'll make a ski simulator, and how might I jazz this up? Oh, I know.
Seal.
You can just
Kiss from a
picture him
Rose.
sitting there coding like, I need a soundtrack. What? Oh, there's the Batman Forever soundtrack.
He's wearing a T-shirt with Val Kilmer on it.
Yeah. Doing this for you, Chris O'Donnell.
It's nice how the more flags you went through, you just slowly start hearing it because you could hear them. They were like, "Is that sounds like
The
Seal."
music got louder, really.
Yeah, and they were
that was
like,
sweet.
"Is that Kissed by a Rose?" Oh, hey! And then the roses start
Start falling
falling.
while it's snowing. Yeah. Then when he jumps off the cliff, he's like, baby! And then 1,000 pictures of seals are all around him.
Oh, there's the big seal.
But yeah, Skeal, check it out. This just goes to show that if you have a dream,
I kind of want to play it now.
you can
I'm
achieve
gonna
it.
play it when I get home. I'm not gonna lie.
Hotspot the computer. I'll turn on.
The rest of the week, Aaron's gonna be like,
Hotspot's on.
baby!
Oh, shit. It is, too.
Episode 53, we play Skeal.
Right.
My kids are gonna be like, "Why are you playing this god awful?"
It's an education.
Mm-hmm.
Look at my power. It's over 8,000.
Isn't it pleasure?
Well, there's power,
Pleasure,
and then pain. As you,
I
there's,
wonder what happens if you get too much pain.
I don't know. Well, the different color flags that you go through to keep the song going, like the red one is power, the blue one is pleasure.
But when you miss, that's when you get the pain.
That's what. Well, that's no. There's another color. Oh, maybe it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What if you miss a bunch of them?
It's just pain. It plays the
Yeah.
song in reverse. And it's like,
All-
yeah, for shit, or stab here.
All of a sudden, you got House of Pain playing.
Maybe-
What if there's a flip
maybe,
side
yeah.
to that? A B track.
You know how people like there's like secret shit in video games that people are just now discovering from like the 90s and that? They're like, oh, I didn't know you could do this. Maybe that is one.
I'm gonna try that out.
Okay, report back.
And if it does play something other than Seal,
You put that on YouTube and become famous.
I'm gonna email those YouTubers.
There you
Be
go.
like, you missed out on a big opportunity. Part 2.
They're like,
Who
we're
were the
30.
villains in the movie?
Batman Forever?
Yeah. Was it Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey? Was that the
It sure
movie?
was.
Okay.
It was.
What if they like somehow come
They're
in
in cahoots?
at the
Yeah.
end?
What
if
else
you
is on
miss?
that soundtrack?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
You want me to look it up? Because I
No,
will.
no, not really.
I mean, you own it.
I don't have CDs anymore.
You
I
say
have,
that.
I have one.
You know he's got that shit on Spotify. Don't lie. Well, when I said something about drinking beer, I was kind of angling towards going into the beer of the week. So
Not Seal.
not Seal, no, but I'm glad we did. So I think we can go ahead and do the beer of the week here real quick while you're
pretty
looking
tasty.
up the stuff. Went with Petoskey Brewing out of...
Petoskey.
Okay, so the brew is called Super Trooper Brown Ale. And then it says coffee plus donuts. Nice little 7.3. And the reason I picked it up was this little fact that Petoskey Brewing has committed to donate 10% of all proceeds from the sale of Super Trooper to Michigan Cops, an organization dedicated to supporting the surviving families and coworkers of Michigan law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty. Learn more at micops.org. And I thought that was really cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Plus,
Doesn't
it's a
sound-
brown ale.
Oh, yeah. We love brown ales.
So, yeah, that was good.
Great choice.
Yep, special edition. It said they added a local bakery's donuts and exotic coffee beans to this unique medium-bodied brown ale.
Oh.
It's a great beer.
So while you were
I'm glad I picked it up.
Solid choice, sir. Solid choice.
You guys texting each
You had
other?
the wrong one.
I apparently had the kid version.
Yeah, I knew how many songs were on that CD.
I bet you fucking did. I bet you did.
Okay, so we've had some pretty good laughs here. Maybe get some current events. Anything you guys want to...
So since Jason, you turned me on to this Reddit phenomenon.
Yeah. It's a
That-
great fucking place.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So looking over the news on there, I know we don't touch on politics much,
We try not to.
but out in the
There's
back-
other podcasts you can listen to for that.
Absolutely.
I'd like to, but yeah, no.
Maybe a Patreon thing.
Maybe.
So the thing that caught my attention that is show-worthy was the election out in Nevada.
Okay.
It was a House seat, correct?
Yes.
I think it was a House
yeah,
seat.
it was a House seat. I don't think he quite ran
a
for
district
Senate.
or something.
Yeah.
Right. Governor.
So there's a guy out there, Dennis Hoff.
Dennis Hoff.
He
Very
was
famous
very
gentleman.
regular on Drew and Mike.
Yeah.
Run the Bunny Ranch.
Yeah, Bunny Ranch. He owned
Founder and
3 or 4 brothels out in Nevada.
Yep.
And
Living the life.
living the
Well, he
life.
was.
Was, yes.
Was.
Spoiler.
Do you believe he passed away of a heart attack?
Yeah.
This
did.
was a while ago.
Less than a year.
No, it was this year.
It was months.
Yeah, less than a year.
Months. We're going to say like
Fair
3
enough.
months,
Yeah.
4 months, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's recent.
So he was celebrating, and he passed away in his sleep. He was found by Ron Jeremy,
Oh, no
who
shit.
he was partying with, among other people.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
I believe I read in there that he had a sex toy in his hand, naked on the bed.
That's, I mean,
That's how I'm going to go.
Right? So it's all great. He owns a brothel, and that's the life he lived. He had a HBO or Showtime show about it. He was
Yeah.
very candid about it. Talked to Drew and Mike.
that was his life. Yeah,
That
he's like,
was.
Fuck it.
But
He was not shy about it.
he
No.
also decided to run for office in Nevada. But unfortunately, when you pass, kind of limits your chances to govern.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's a good way to put it.
To uphold that position.
But
Yeah.
that did not stop the voters from electing him to office
He won.
months after he died.
He won on Tuesday.
No
last
shit.
week. He won his election. Deceased.
That's fucking a legacy right there.
Yeah.
So,
Now, either the voters neglected to find out that he died.
no, I think that made news.
Or-
I think they just hated
His opponent was so bad that they voted for a dead
guy.
man.
Dead brothel owner.
So, all right. That alone is like, wow. But now my brain jumps to like the logistics of this. Like, does that uphold? Does that vote count?
Yes.
Like, so no one's going to sit in that seat. There's just going to be a desk with a fucking name badge of a
Nope.
dead guy.
Well, no, he had a chief of staff, right? Isn't a chief of staff?
I believe the party will put someone into place. That's why a lot of times when you hear
Oh.
that senators or
So maybe they were
reps
out there
pass-
campaigning for him, even though he
Still
had
after the
deceased,
fact?
just
Yeah.
to get the people to vote.
because a lot of times in those cases the wife will take the seat.
Really?
Yeah.
was
That's
he
kind
married?
of neat.
But he
I
wasn't.
doubt he was fucking married.
No,
if I was a
wasn't.
betting man,
he only had girlfriends.
which I plural.
He was like the new half, basically, is what it was.
He was a different route of like you got like half,
Raunchy half.
You got the
Yeah,
guy who did
raunchy.
Hustler, Larry Flynn.
Yeah, that
then
was
you had him.
raunchy,
Like there was a
raunchy.
triangle of them.
Yeah,
Wow.
So
and he won.
he won.
I mean, it's like voting for a dog for mayor.
The election
I mean,
before he ran as an independent did not get elected.
Okay.
So he ran as a Republican.
And he won as
And
a
he-
Republican.
He won as a dead Republican.
Holy shit.
That's crazy.
That is an interesting.
If he was Democrat, he'd have voted for himself.
Maybe he did vote. We don't know.
Yeah, right,
He
yeah.
voted for the opposition and still won. Oh, shit. Wow. I have so many questions about this.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to do some
the
research.
story's only days old, so we got
Yeah,
some
it's-
time
it's
to see
still
how it
fresh.
plays out for sure.
Huh.
That's funny. We
I wonder if this is the first time a dead guy's won a fucking government position.
It is not.
he was on that.
He was.
shit.
Apparently, he did his homework.
So it was his 72nd birthday party that he passed away in his sleep.
Yeah, he was
77.
partying
He was
hard.
72.
I did not know.
Fully
that.
active in all capacities.
I did not know he was that old.
So as I said, Ron,
That's older than Trump.
That is older than Trump.
so Ron Jeremy found him.
Oh, God.
So that was interesting enough. So it says here that it was his 72nd birthday party, and some of the attendees were, famous people like rapper Flavor Flav.
Yeah, boy.
Sounds about right.
But he did win with 68.2% of the vote dead,
Holy shit.
compared to his opponent's 31%.
Wow.
Wow.
Still sticking it to him even in death.
I would like to see the vote total.
How many actual voters?
You know, if there was like
100,000.
100,000, what'd he get? 75% or whatever, or not 75%. You just
or
said
63.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to say that they say if you die on your birthday, you've lived a complete life. Apparently, motherfucker had some
There we go.
adventures.
That's interesting.
So the votes totaled early Wednesday showed 16,206 had been voted. it looks like.
16,000.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, so that was the total. The breakdown was 7,944 for the Hoff and 3,690 for his opponent.
Wow.
Damn. What kind of shitty opponent do you have to be to run a campaign for months against a dead guy?
Well, it could just have been that was a huge Republican
Could be
demographic
yeah,
area.
Absolutely.
He toasted the previous because it was Republican. It's a Republican district.
Okay, then
And
that's
he
probably
ousted him. They said it was a Rhino Republican,
okay.
and they say that he might get the seat.
This whole conversation posed one question in my mind based off the shit Aaron has read to us. Like, the fact that Ron Jeremy found the dead body. Out of anyone in the world, who would you want to find you? Like,
Wow.
Because I wouldn't pick Ron Jeremy.
Flavor Flav.
Like, wow, that's... I mean, if that's the circle you run in, that's the circle you
No,
run in,
I guess
but-
to answer that question, I'd have to like assume that I'm partying with those people or
let's
something's
say
going on, right?
It's your birthday party. You're
Anybody I
having a giant
want.
bash. Who's like walks in the room like, John, you got to see this. What he's doing. And, oh, fuck. Who is that person?
That's a toughie.
That is a tough. We might save that.
Yeah, that might linger for a week or two there.
Maybe we'll announce that on the Lampy episode.
Ooh, nice. That's
Give-
a good 2-week period to figure out who
Give
I'd
us
want
some
to
time
find
to
me.
do some
yeah,
research.
Yeah, that's our own personal Lampy.
Yeah.
Who we want to find us if we
Expire.
expire
Find us dead in the nude.
with a sex toy in my
I mean,
hand.
you can go
Yeah.
however which way you want to go in this scenario.
Hopefully, I'm on DMT when it happens.
I just read...
nice and peaceful.
I forget the guy's name. In the late 60s, early 70s, one of the... I don't know if he was a big name in the LSD community, but he knew he had like a terminal illness and he was going to die. And on his deathbed, he just crazy dosed himself on acid. So he went out in an acid trip. That's kind of fucking weird.
I guess if you're gonna go, right?
Yeah. And like how we were talking on the last episode about how when you die, the brain releases the 4 grams of that. So if you're already fucking gone
Right.
on acid and then you mix in,
4 grams of that.
what
Boy,
kind
oh
of shit
boy.
was that guy seeing in the last seconds of his life? I've learned a lot tonight.
Me too.
I've learned that Aaron likes Seal's A Kiss from a Rose more than I ever thought he did.
True.
It was a phase.
Oh,
All right, so we will. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here now.
no.
It's been fun, educational at times,
Hopefully it was for you too, the listener.
Scary at times.
scary at times, interesting. Phew, we covered all spectrums tonight
We hit a lot.
in our reality, anyways.
And if you're out there thinking to yourself, man, I want to find out more about this Skeal, check it out on YouTube. Maybe even find it on the internet to play it.
Do you
I'm
think
gonna look it up.
Do you think it's still out there?
It's the internet. I mean, it's vast.
Yeah, but that was way back when, wasn't it? 95. That's 13 years ago.
Well, it wasn't made like directly after. This was like 2002.
Yeah,
No.
this is probably early in the internet.
2000, we'll say 7 at latest.
All right.
So, I mean, it's a good 10 years plus.
It's probably out there.
It might be
I'm
out
sure
there
you can
somewhere.
find it. Enough. For, I mean, what was it? A 3-minute video game?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure it's there. It ain't holding up too much room.
No.
Want to say thank you to Petoskey Brewing.
Very tasty beverage.
Not only that, but the donation.
That's very cool. of them.
That's really cool.
Yes.
We
Kudos
appreciate
to you,
that.
Petoskey.
Yeah, and everybody, if you're listening, go to mi-cops. No, it's micops.com.
Yeah.
Mi-cops charity is what it is. Okay, there we go.
You can Google
Ooh,
it too.
whoa.
You know.
Just a liter of cola.
That's it.
Episode 53 is going to be an interesting one.
It's going to be special.
It's pretty cool.
I'm looking forward to it.
I am too.
He's the guy coming over has been a long-time friend of mine. I've known him for quite some time, man. And he's doing big things all around the globe.
Very true.
And so
Good things.
we're looking forward to having him over to spread his word.
Yes.
Definitely. hopefully
much so.
everybody listening checks in next week.
And if you don't like or share any of our social media stuff, when episode 53 does come out, please.
That's the one.
That's the one.
If you haven't yet, please
if you haven't
let
yet,
that be the
53
one.
is going to be the one you want
Yeah.
to share.
That's going to be cool.
Should we give away some stuff for shares or retweets? Pull
Oh.
like when
Make
you
a
post the
contest
show and then say however many, regardless how many people share the Facebook and retweet the tweet for the show, maybe we just pull one random retweet, one random
Maybe more than
share.
one.
Give them a free shirt.
However we want to do it, absolutely.
There's going to
'Cause
be, I think there should be something.
Let's do something for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because we love that people share our stuff, but because the message is bigger than us,
It is
Yeah.
way bigger than us.
maybe we should go out a little extra.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm in.
I'm in
Let's
too.
do it. Please stay tuned for that.
very much so.
And do us a favor and share the hell out of it. Once
It's a big
we
deal.
post. Share all of them.
Right?
But
Please
if you
share
had
all
to
of them.
choose one,
Right, but if that's
I
the,
would say
the one you
episode
start
53.
with,
The
yes.
next episode is the one you want to share.
I am personally looking forward to this one.
He's changing lives.
Yes,
That's probably the first episode that's we feel is way bigger than us.
definitely,
By a lot.
definitely.
We love having the guests on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're entertaining. It's all great. But it was all for the podcast. This one is bigger than the
Yeah.
podcast.
Last
I'm
week,
saying next week is the podcast is using its potential to expand his message.
and on top of that, next week is the last episode for season 1 of Corner House Chronicles.
Bam!
We start season 2 the following week with our 1-year anniversary.
That's crazy.
So that's pretty cool.
That's a big deal for us.
Yes.
Might not be for you guys, but the ones that have stuck with us, thank you so
Congratulations.
fucking much.
Thank you to listeners. Everybody sharing, voting in our brackets, buying merchandise, coming over and sitting in on the show. All of you. Thank you.
You made this into something way bigger than I thought I was going to get.
Mm-hmm.
All of us.
All of
Much
us.
bigger than all of us thought.
Yep.
And we appreciate the fuck out of that.
Yeah, the work we've put in has been very rewarding.
Hell
so
yeah.
I think
hit
so.
hit 25 downloads, hit 100 downloads.
I know.
I know
right?
when we hit triple digits the first time, we're like, oh my God.
Remember in December we were like, "Did you see that? We got 40 for the month."
Right?
40 people.
Right.
When other countries started listening, we're like, somebody in India just listened to our show.
That was a bit crazy. Shout out
That's
to
still-
UK. That was one
UK.
of our first ones.
Yep, Ireland.
Ireland. Yes.
Our Gleam contest winner is still listening.
That's true.
Ex Plasma Dragon.
Plasma Dragon.
Which is
shout
awesome.
out.
Thank you so much.
I just delivered our shirt and koozie prize to our bracket winner, my sister-in-law.
Nice.
She
Cheater.
predicted the right bracket because
Patreon content incoming.
right.
No, congratulations.
All over the place. We just want to thank everybody. It's been fun. We're looking forward to way more shows.
Oh, yeah. See
You
where
know.
this goes.
shows, brackets,
Better
guests,
content, better guests. Absolutely.
more Patreon members.
More Patreon, please. And on that note, Aaron, appreciate you sitting in.
Thanks for stopping
Welcome
by.
back, sir.
Hey,
It's good
thank
to have you.
Hopefully, I'll get back sometime soon. Who knows?
Sometime.
Sometime.
Pretty soon. Next week. Looking forward to it. Jay,
John.
have a good night. Aaron,
See you guys later.
all right.